We're back on the Ride 9 Free Lounge, the third hour, sponsored by Millennium Music Media. Again, go to millennium5.com to find what your self-worth is and how you can get 70% off the dollar for your musical or audio-visual talents. Millennium5.com. Welcome to the Music Revolution. Thank you, Mocha Marie. It took Mocha a minute to kind of come out her shell. But I was determined, like, no, this is not Monday night. It's Saturday afternoon. And I'm going to get you there.
Listen, I had the pleasure of meeting her for the first time.
I'm going to tell you right now, she wiped that chair down real good.
I thought you met her already. You never met her before?
I never talked to her before. I seen her and said hi. You know how.
Yeah, you're very intimidating. Mocha has that ability. She can intimidate those. She can like, who are you? Like, you peasant.
Yes.
Get out of my face. I am an artist. But big shout to her. We got a brother here who's a star and a personality in his own right. I had the pleasure of working with him for a little while. Mentality Part 2. He's a mainstay of this network. He's got a new show coming out starting next week with Mocha Marie. And I'm just glad to have him in the building because anytime he's here, it's definitely knowledge central. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Mike, the Moderator. Welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brothers and sister. Thank you very much.
Getting to know you, I know that if the show was trash, you just wouldn't come back. I mean, you could do other things on the Saturday morning.
Can't do a
And obviously, again, the journey you have that it means a lot that you would take that time out this morning and afternoon. So thank you for that, man.
Oh man, listen, no problem. Iron sharpens iron, brother. So if we don't take the opportunity to lend just your time to the next man or next woman, then prosperity isn't. You can't expect prosperity. Let me just put it like that.
Well, I want to get right into it. This morning when I woke up, I always promote the show, and I kind of touched on obviously Tulsa, Charlotte, Trump, Clinton. A powerful 4 words out of my mouth that means different things to different people. Again, greatness, recognizing greatness. I want to hear what you think. Number one, first on Tulsa.
Sad. Horrifically sad for a multitude of reasons. My opinion, first of all, let me preface what I'm about to say by saying this. My opinions are not popular. My opinions are not popular not because they're far left or because they're far right. It's because my opinions often represent a level of honesty that most people are frightened to broach. You know what I'm saying? Like most things in life, you can't broach them if you're not prepared. Don't tell me you want the truth if when I give you the truth, you got an issue with the truth. Right. The single most uncomfortable policy in life is the truth. Now you can argue me that the truth is subjective to a person's perspective, and to some degree that is true. However, the true, unabridged, unbound, unbroken, popularized, the unmotivated by ulterior motive and subjugated agenda truth, that judgment day, honesty truth, people don't want that.
Right.
And the reason why people don't want that is because people want honesty from athletes, but then when athletes go and be honest, they don't want honesty from their athletes.
Right. So they just want you to almost like the Cotton Club days.
Yeah.
Just dance and make me happy, go to the back
door.
So
I preface that by saying what I'm about to say, by saying that, so that you understand exactly where I'm coming from. Of all that's going on in the media, they all share one thing in common. They're all sad.
Right.
It's sad that Trump. It's sad that Hillary.
Yeah.
It's sad Charlotte. But the one you asked me the most about that's the most sad is Tulsa.
That's why I started there.
And what makes Tulsa so sad is because you're seeing something and it's slowly starting to eke out that most people refuse to accept. I don't stand by police brutality. I don't stand by these shootings that are occurring. But if there's one thing that makes Tulsa so sad, male cop pulls out the taser and tased the brother, right? Was that necessary? Probably not. Do I understand it? you know what, we practice a necessity for less than lethal force. It gets no less than lethal than a taser, unless you got a heart problem, right? The female cop pulls the gun and squeezes off. Why?
Who is a trainer of other officers?
You know what? I hate to say this. This is a statement that's popular in the genre of employment that I've held for the last 20 years, which is a paramedic. Those who can do, those who can't teach. So in my line of work, you could teach me what it's like to, immobilize a patient, status poster, some traumatic incident to the spine, someone gets shot, you collar and board them. But unless you've been to the shooting,
Right.
like I have been to many,
Right.
unless you've been to the stabbing, unless you've been in the projects to the unconscious at the bottom of the stairs, the pissy, nasty, dirty stairs, then the methods of which you teach me to collar and board in that instance are inapplicable. I've been to stabbings in elevators where there's still somebody hiding in the elevator in the projects, waiting for the door to close so I can get robbed, or whatever's gonna happen now. Sidebar: before I got into all of this, I've always been a decent guy, but I ain't always been a respectable guy. So you come down out the ceiling of that elevator if you want to. I'm going to show you Mike the Moderator from 93, 94, 95. But I digress. But that's the same thing here. You can train a trainer all you want. You can be a trainer all you want. You can teach less than lethal force if you want. And here's what makes it sad. If you are afraid, fear is the greatest motivator in life. There are a lot of other motivations. Number 1A is fear. And that's what pulled the trigger. The conscious, rational individual did not pull the trigger. Fear pulled the trigger. And however you want to define where her fear came from, you know what? I could go there. I don't know that I want to, but I could go there.
Please, brother, please. Because this has to be said because there's a lot of people who don't.
Civil service, period. I'm not just going to pin cops on it. Civil service, period. It don't matter if it's PD. It don't matter if it's fire. It don't matter if it's EMS. It don't matter if it's child services. It don't matter if it's home visiting nurse services. Any civil service application, the one thing that's always in the back of your mind is, where the hell am I? I got 20 years as a paramedic in all types of different areas. I work in suburbia. I've covered the hood. I've worked Times Square, Midtown when the ball drops. I've been many different places. Some places you go and you're like, hey, this is where I am. And other places you go and you like,
I need backup. I need backup.
Somebody else want to take that call?
there's fear.
Does somebody else want to take this call?
Right there, cuz.
I need assistance for this lift because I've
Yes,
been there.
yes. Yeah. Or you utilize the police 10 code of 1085.
Yep.
1085, 1013, which means, individual in distress, officer down, whatever the case may be. But so for me as EMS, I've gone into place, and I don't really like to use my line of work for very different reasons. But you go into someone's places, and I remember a time where I don't know what they call them now because we don't have them where I work at. But the computers that used to be in the ambulances, KDTs or MDTs, whatever they call them.
Mother jugs and speed.
Yeah. They used to, in certain places, big shout to my home borough of Queens, but there'd be a time where, or for the years I worked in the Bronx, where if you went into Edenwald, we use Edenwald. On the KDT at the bottom of the screen, it would say, do not proceed to location until PD arrives.
Yep.
Right on the bottom of the screen. So if I'm going to 1620 Shiflin, if I'm going to 1050 Shiflin Place South, it would say, do not proceed without PD.
Basically, it's like, you'll be sorry.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Stuff thrown off the roof,
Yup.
fight, whatever it may be.
walkie-talkie.
I've come outside and the ambulance has been moved. Dude's done broken. Now, I got your grandmother who'll be dead in about 20 minutes if I don't get the Jacoby, but you done stole my ambulance and moved it around the corner. And then you mad because I'm not moving fast enough with your grandmother. That's the greatest motivation. And that's the problem with law enforcement. Most law enforcement is not indicative of the neighborhoods in which they take care of, so they don't understand the dichotomy of the neighborhood. So now you're here in fear. Whereas I'm from the hood. So I walk in a neighborhood, I'm like, yo, put that away, man. Come on, man. I'm here for her. What's the deal? What's going on? What's the matter? Why you don't feel good? What you done smoke? You done blew some trees? What's the deal? You got Molly or two in you? I'm not the cops. Just tell me what the deal is. Where's the heat at? All right, hide the heat because the police going to be here in about 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So
that's because you know the neighborhood and you know how to communicate to the people in the neighborhood.
But the thing is that makes this different is that everyone can relate that way in whatever neighborhood they're from. But when you have a contingency that's not from the neighborhood that they patrol, then they operate under fear. And fear is what shot that young man. I can't speak for every other police shooting.
Right.
And you can't have 500 police shootings and tell me they're all accidents.
Right.
Because the ones that ain't accidents, and this is where the media plays a part in, start to mysteriously disappear. Mm-hmm. You know, you never heard anything else about the cop that shot the man in South Carolina in the back as he was running away. That they slid. He's so guilty that, you know what? No, we not going to really talk about that over here. You know what I'm saying? He got time. He got convicted. Or he got sentenced. Yeah. He got convicted. He got time. You ain't hear nothing. You ain't hear no riots in South Carolina. Nothing. Why? Because he was too guilty for the media to manipulate. There was no ifs. So you got to understand the media game, LeBron James, which I'm sure you understand.
I'm listening, sir.
You have to understand the media game. The spin masters, or as dude once said on an episode of The Sopranos, the ministers of propaganda. You have to understand propaganda to understand what it is exactly that you're seeing. You have to read between the lines. And between the lines that makes Tulsa so sad is that, you know what, I really don't believe that woman really meant to shoot that dude. I really don't. But unfortunately, you know what? You got to have a sacrificial lamb somewhere, and I really could see her being the one thrown to the wolves. That's the one out of all of them that I really feel like, you know what, she might not be as culpable in this as you think. But you're walking a high wire with no net, and there's still a level of responsibility you have to take.
Let's move on. We got a few minutes left. And Mike, like I said, man, 5 hours is not enough with the things you discussed. We got Super Bowl 16 coming up Monday night. I guess while you guys are on, they'll probably be wrapping up the debate. Clinton versus Trump. They claim that this might have record numbers. It might even surpass some Super Bowls.
It will.
Your thoughts on the debate that I think in my mind will decide who's our next president?
It is. This is the catch-up debate. Because whoever don't come off hardcore in this debate is going to be playing catch-up clear till we hit the polls. And I think with some stuff out there that Donald Trump's not interested in talking facts, with Hillary's health being in question, Hofstra University being the site, the police brutality we got going on, the relative senseless killings of black folks and terrorism, bombs going off. I think that this right here is going to be secondary to the Nixon-Kennedy debate, which is the greatest debate of all time, for many reasons. Because that was two different debates in one.
Right.
If you listen to that debate on the radio, Nixon blew Kennedy out of the water.
It was TV.
But if you watched it on TV,
the sweat, the nervousness.
Nixon, who looked pasty and pale, looked like he was about to syncopize or fate at any moment. But if you watch that on TV, Kennedy blew him out the water. This debate right here is second to that. There's so much on the line. This will be the debate that will decide who the president is.
But how do you think they're going to come out? Is Trump going to be that brash, disrespectful, don't got no cool, going to just talk how he wants to talk? Or is he going to have a different level at this pinnacle of the race where I can't be as brash as I was in the Republicans convention, but now I got to tone it down because I have to show a sense of leadership? Or is Hillary going to be that dominant figure that she somewhat tries to be every now and again? What do you see happening?
It's the tale of two debates. I think the first part is you're going to get some of both of Trump. The calmer, kinder, gentler, hold a black baby in the air, go to the white church and talk to black people Trump that you see now is secondary to his most recent change in staff, right? So the people who are spinning him now want him to pull it back. So you'll see some of that, but you're going to have to see the Trump that got him to where he is.
The arrogance.
The arrogance, the obnoxious, the crude. You know, I said this before. I'll say it again. The Republican National Convention that you saw was the world's most widely televised Klan rally of all time. That Trump is what has Trump where he is today. That Trump you're going to have to see at some point. What will hurt him is that if Hillary stays the course of where she has been. If you notice, she hasn't played that game with him. So if she stays the course, you know, she's gotten a little firmer lately. If that Hillary comes out, that Hillary overall, which appeases to everybody,
will blow him out the water. Mm-hmm.
Because if you're looking at the polls, he's unpopular in some bad places, like suburban America women. Why is a woman's vote important? Because women outnumber men, but women are still considered a minority. So if you're going to get some of both of Trump, I believe, and you're going to get some of the Hillary that you've been gotten, and from that point it'll just play itself out.
I'm just curious to see what Trump's going to say. 'Cause every time you talk to him, oh, I'll have a plan, but he never tells you what the plan is. That's what's really going.
Well, he's running out of time. He's going to
have to explain that.
Well, right now he's neck and neck according to the numbers that I've been following. They're like
he's it's close to call.
He's
now.
6. He's down. The last number I heard, he was 6% behind Hillary, which
number
is amazing at this point. She should be blowing him.
Right.
She should be blowing him out the water, and he's only 6%
overall. But he's beating her in key states.
Well, she's a flawed candidate, so
and that's
I mean,
the problem.
They're both,
is why he could edge her.
They're both flawed candidates. This would be one of the real elections where you really have to choose the lesser of the evils. And the question is, who really is the lesser of the evil? I mean, you know, we give Hillary's popular, Democrats on the whole are popular in urban communities for the reasons that Republicans aren't. Because the Democrats have decided if we want to win, we got to go to the hood.
Right.
Whereas Republicans ain't coming to the hood. They'll send somebody to collect the rent, but they ain't coming to the hood. Mm-hmm. So because of things like that, this dichotomy is crazy. So it's going to be interesting. It really is going to. And if you consider 6% in the polls, but a 2% plus or minus, that makes it 4%. Yep. That in and of itself proves why getting out and going to vote this election is so substantial, because 4% could be the difference of 350 to 400,000 people, and that's a small margin, small margin.
Mike, we already got you coming back the Saturday before the election.
Yes, please.
No doubt, I'll be here.
I got questions
because, brother, like I said again, this don't do you justice, but I had to get you on the mic when you told me you was coming, and like I said,
you know, happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Real quick before we get you out of here, Monday night, one more time.
Monday night, the brand new A&R report, which I also call the new Fab Five, DWI, the Lovely J, Mocha Marie, DJ Bedtime, and myself, Mike the Moderator. What is it? 11 p.m., 1 a.m. Oh my God! 106.1 FM, The Real Deal Radio, 91.9 FM. Of course, you can catch it on the DSN app. 1.FM Jams, which happens to be the world's largest conglomerated internet radio network in the world. Something like 60 or 70 different stations, all under one guy's Not that I want to get him that big a prop, but
We're going to need 5-hour energy.
it is what it
After
is.
12
You
midnight.
got the red eye going.
Man, listen, they pulled me out of retirement for that, so I
Well,
ain't had
D,
no
make
plans.
sure the Uber is ready at 1:01 a.m. And I better get a call in for a guest because
you know, we ain't got no guests the first show either, so you know we about to just
I
act
need
a
to be
fool.
6 man off the bench. Substitute.
Drinking rum and
You know how
Red
we do.
Bull.
Mike, again, thanks for coming up. This is it.